I want to talk about like Bob Harper and what he went through real quick. And, how do you prevent Bob Harper? If he doesn't mind me using him as an example, biggest loser, fitness trainer, age 51, ripped guy in the past, always with a green juice in his hand and all, and working out at a gym February 2017, drops dead. He has a cardiac arrest on the treadmill. By the grace of heaven above, next to him on the treadmill was a cardiologist, and on the wall in front of him was an external defibrillator. And within about the shortest time any human could have, he's got a trained professional on top of him with the pads that say shock, and he came back to life, rushed to the hospital. I believe he had a stent. I haven't actually read that. And he was on the ventilator, but he's just one lucky dude. Brain, kidneys, everything kind of came back. And he went on the Oz show March or April 2017 and said the obvious question: how could you have had a heart attack with all your workouts and muscles and all those years on the Biggest Loser show with J.D. Roth and your buddy and all that? And he said, I found out I have a genetic kind of cholesterol nobody ever checked called lipoprotein A. It's whatever doctor you're seeing, the routine cholesterol panel doesn't include that. LPA, sticky cholesterol, lipoprotein A, there are three terms for the same molecule. Costs about $25 to run the blood test. Normal levels in most labs, less than 30. I have dozens of patients whose blood levels are 300, 400, 500, and it just erodes their arteries and ages their vascular system, and it will never show up in a routine physical unless you read the New York Times recently talking about Bob Harper, blogs I've written. Thank you, Bob Harper, for bringing up the issue. There is a lipoprotein A foundation. How common is it? 63 million Americans have elevated lipoprotein A levels, 20% of adults. It's genetic, so you can eat well. That's the kicker. You're Bob Harper, you're Rich Roll, you're Joel Kahn, you got plants, you work out, you do yoga, you got love and happiness in your heart, and you got a lipoprotein A level of 400, you still can suffer stroke and a heart attack. So that's one
now you're
way.
Scaring me. I don't even know. I don't even know myself.
You haven't had it. Yeah, and
I'm 51.
Yeah, and I can write you out a blood slip. But so can any doctor do it. You can go to Cedar. You can go anywhere. It's a simple test. You don't have to go to any exotic lab. That's upstream. That's turning off the faucet, because if you're elevated, the typical response right now is make sure the rest of your lifestyle is perfect, because you've got a genetic risk that can't be dealt with. Be sure you eat well, be sure you meditate, be sure your blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, inflammation markers like C-reactive protein, make sure everything else is spot on. And that's all valid and important. And I think that's the path that Bob Harper talks about on his social media since then. There is a drug in investigation. Statins don't lower lipoprotein A, so take them off the list for that, things like Lipitor. There is pretty strong data that niacin, a B vitamin used at high doses, lowers lipoprotein A. That's one approach I use in my own clinic, my own patients. And I can see their levels come down dramatically. The science hasn't yet designed a proper study to say that's going to mean somebody's going to be less likely to have a heart attack, stroke, and live longer, because nobody funds a study with a drug like niacin that over the counter in a drugstore costs pennies.
Yeah, you can't make any money off that.
Can't make any money.
So just to be clear, though, if you have this lipoprotein A lifestyle, diet, I'm sure it has some, has a benefit on your overall health, but that is not going to be
it won't protect you from that single. There's a supplement company I like that has this dramatic poster with the heart and 19 daggers pointing at the heart, of which blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, LDL, HDL, but lipoprotein A is one of those daggers. So it won't protect you from that one dagger. It may, ameliorate and turn the faucet or slow the faucet from, 7 or 10 or 12 of the 19. But homocysteine is a blood test, an amino acid genetically kind of monitor that you should know, and you should check. These things cost pennies or a few dollars, and many of them, like lipoprotein A, you do it once. You're 400, you got a problem. You're 4, you have no problem, and you won't have a problem because it's genetic.